Hi, I'm Hub Arkush, along with Pro Football Weekly senior editor Mike Wilkening, as we continue our series of 32 NFL team training camp opening reports. Cincinnati Bengals were a bit of a shocker last year. They jumped all the way to the playoffs behind a couple rookies on offense. You've got, of course, Andy Dalton at quarterback and A.J. Green at wide receiver, but they got to get better to stay there this year. So, Mike, what were some of the key additions they made, both in the draft and via free agency, to try and take a step forward?
They had 2 first-round picks. Both could press to start right off the bat. And Kevin Zeitler at right guard, a more likely starter, but Drake Kirkpatrick, they've got some issues at corner, some injuries, some age issues. Mohamed Sanu, the third-round pick from Rutgers, has a chance. That's a wide-open position there at wide receiver. Free agency, they were pretty active. They've been active the last couple of years. Ben Jarvis, green-ellis, the former Patriots back, Travell Wharton, who played pretty well in Carolina at times, he probably steps right in at guard. So they were pretty active in adding pieces to an already pretty good puzzle.
This is a team that's been to the playoffs 3 times with Marvin Lewis in 8 years, but never back-to-back, and they've never won a playoff game. What do they need to do offensively to try and take that next step?
You'd like to see them be a little bit more explosive in the run game. They're a very grinding sort of scheme there. You'd like to see them be a little bit more explosive. And they're going to need a second receiver to step up opposite of A.J. Green. They really, they had a guy in Jerome Simpson who was inconsistent, but teams had to respect him because he was so dynamic on the outside. They need a guy to step up opposite A.J. Green, because right now you're going to double Green and take your chances with everybody else.
Defensively, a lot of folks suggest that they're loaded up front. I've wondered a little bit about the pass rush and the defensive line. Where will their focus be in training camp on the defensive side of the ball?
I think the secondary is the big question, because you've got Leonal coming off of the Achilles injury. He's a good corner when he's healthy. And you've got Nate Clements getting up in age. That's why you keep an eye on Kirkpatrick. That's why you keep an eye on a guy like Jason Allen, Terrence Newman from Dallas. They've got a lot of guys that are in the picture there. How that shakes out, I think, is going to be very interesting, because I think they've got to get better, particularly in that side of the defense.
What about young veterans who were already on the roster at the end of the season last year who need to or could take a big step forward this year?
I think the one guy you put atop that list is Jermaine Gresham. He already made the Pro Bowl last year. I think he can get even better. Thereafter, I think you've got some questions. Carlos Dunlap, I think he's got to stay healthy. That's the key for him. But he's got rare pass rushing ability. Ray Maluga, I think, took a nice step forward next year, but can he take another step? And Bernard Scott's going to play more than he has in the past. I think this could be a nice year for him.
We don't want to end anybody's career, but our job in the media is to talk about those veterans on the bubble. Who are the guys in Cincinnati?
I think you look at the corner battle, and I think you look at a guy like Adam Jones, you look at Terrence Newman. Some decent player in that group, I think, is not going to make the team. They're pretty deep there. They've got a lot of numbers. Brandon Tate, the receiver, is a guy that I think is, probably going to have to step up and do some things to make this team. So I think when you look at the Bengals, I think some decent players can hit the waiver wire for them.
Oh, how the mighty can fall. For those of you who don't remember, Adam is also Pac-Man Jones. That's going to do it for the Cincinnati Bengals. But we've got training camp opening reports on all 32 NFL teams. They're all right here at ProFootballWeekly.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.